The film begins in 1945, during the final days of World War II, as Shikishima, a skilled gunman and pilot, makes an emergency landing on a mysterious island due to a technical issue with his plane. A team of mechanics is dispatched to assist him. As night falls, they settle into comfortable dorms for some much-needed rest. Shikishima, however, notices a lifeless animal on the water's surface but dismisses it momentarily. This oversight triggers a chain of events leading to chaos when a colossal Godzilla emerges in the dead of night. Attempting to fend off the creature, they position Shikishima with a special gun, but the monster's terrifying roars paralyze him, preventing him from pulling the trigger. Despite pleas from his teammates, fear overcomes him, and he allows the monster to prey on them. The colossal creature wreaks havoc, obliterating their surroundings with powerful attacks. When Shikishima awakens the next morning, he finds himself surrounded by the lifeless bodies of his team, except for one friend who, in his eyes, has become an enemy for allowing the monster to claim innocent lives. The two survivors return home burdened with the remnants of their friends and overwhelming regret. Shikishima is condemned to carry the label of coward for the remainder of his life. In 1947, Shikishima returned to a devastated Tokyo, now reduced to a mere heap of garbage. His surroundings mirrored the wreckage of his soul. Haunted by the accusation from a neighbor who held him responsible for the death of her children, blaming him for allowing Godzilla to survive and wreak havoc on her family. In this desolate state, the neighbor handed him the final letter from his deceased parents, a poignant reminder of their fervent wish for his safe return from the mission. However, the reality of being alive was overshadowed by the weight of remorse and guilt. Each morning became a formidable struggle for Shikishima until a chance encounter altered the course of his despondent existence. A woman, evading the authorities after stealing a meal for her child, collided with him, leaving the little girl in his lap as she escaped. Throughout the day, he awaited her return and, upon finding out she wouldn't be coming back, took the baby under his care. Eventually, the woman reappeared, explaining that the child was not hers, but her dying mother had implored her to safeguard the baby. From that point on, she continued to care for the infant, and they now sought refuge for the night at Shikishima's ruined home, recognizing the dire circumstances. Shikishima urged the woman to relinquish the baby, emphasizing the need for proper care and shelter. Despite her fragile state and the challenges she faced, she defiantly clung to her decision, refusing to abandon the child. In the desolate environment of the devastated neighborhood, the indignant neighbor proposes a unique solution to their predicament by offering the baby, Akiko, along with the much-needed mother's milk. Together, they decide to inhabit the dilapidated houses, and Shikishima, feeling a responsibility for Akiko, seizes an opportunity for a potential improvement in their circumstances. One day, Shikishima presents Nori, the woman who brought Akiko, with an opportunity to work in mine cleaning. A government-approved job promising better boats and advanced facilities. Though Nori is apprehensive about the risks involved, particularly Shikishima risking his life once again, he is determined to provide a better life for Akiko. After convincing Nori to agree, he embarks on the mission the next day, only to be met with a surprising revelation: there are no special boats or advanced weapons as promised. Undeterred, Shikishima joins the team tasked with clearing the water mines that were laid by the Americans during the war in Japanese waters. In the company of the kid, the doctor, and the shooter, he discovers the shooter's incompetence in aiming the bombs. Seizing the opportunity to showcase his skills, Shikishima takes control of the shooting gun and impresses the team with his exceptional marksmanship, swiftly and efficiently clearing the mines from the water. Back in his hometown, Shikishima is tormented by the traumatic events of the night in 1945, as haunting nightmares of his own demise and that of his teammates continue to plague his nights. However, Nori becomes his solace, offering comfort and support in the face of these distressing visions. As years pass, they manage to secure enough jobs to build a house and sustain a living. In a gesture of camaraderie, Shikishima invites his colleagues over for dinner, where they perceive Nori as his wife and Akiko as his daughter. However, Shikishima reveals the true nature of their relationships, prompting lively suggestions from his friends to marry Nori and formally adopt Akiko. Despite the well-meaning advice, he remains entangled in an internal war, hesitant to take such steps. Meanwhile, Nori establishes herself in the professional realm by finding a job, asserting her independence. The neighbor also steps in to assist in caring for Akiko, creating a supportive environment for the unconventional family as they navigate the complexities of their lives. In May 1947, a colossal creature was spotted on Ogasawara Islands. Shikishima, seeing a wrecked ship and dead fish, realized the creature, now even bigger and deadlier, couldn't be fought with their small boat and limited explosives. Despite futile attempts for immediate help, Godzilla reappeared, 100 times larger. They bravely threw bombs and shot at it, but nothing worked. Despite their attempts to escape fate, Godzilla reaches their homes. Shikishima, at home with his daughter, experiences the colossal creature's destructive rampage, shaking cars and buildings with its colossal feet. The monster's roar induces fear, signaling the onset of chaos. Meanwhile, Nori is on a train directly in the monster's path. The creature engulfs parts of the train in its mouth, resulting in tragic deaths. Nori, escaping into the water, navigates the streets after swimming to safety. As the monster approaches the city, it obliterates long buildings like mere pieces of paper. Shikishima finds Nori amidst the chaos, rescuing her and blending into the panicked crowd. Missiles strike the monster, triggering its terrifying counterattack, activating highly potent radioactive heat waves through its fins. The resulting massive explosion reduces the city to dust. In a heartbreaking moment, Nori sacrifices herself, pushing Shikishima away and losing her life. Another life is lost due to Shikishima, a burden that will haunt him for the rest of his days, surpassing even the traumatic memories from before. Shikishima returns with a shattered heart and dashed hopes for a renewed life. At Nori's funeral, his friend, the doctor, proposes a final mission to kill Godzilla using a method involving the pressure of the ocean depths. The plan entails submerging the creature in concentrated salt water, causing it to sink, suffocate, and eventually perish. Cables with high potential will tie the monster, dragging it to the depths. Shikishima, driven by an unwavering desire for Godzilla's demise, rejects a mere hopeful plan and demands an assured end. The doctor, however, urges him to trust the process and explains a backup plan, a life preserver device for massive decompression in case the first plan fails. Despite reluctance among many due to the government's responsibility, the naval soldiers see no alternative as the government remains inactive. Understanding the urgency, they don't force participation but motivate individuals to fight for their families. The majority agrees, and the team is ready to embark on the perilous mission to combat the newly born colossal creature. Shikishima is determined to draw the monster to the shore, relying on acoustic sources as the only means of calling it off. However, he devises a riskier plan to make Godzilla angrier by using a fighter plane, intending to fly it himself with a wish for death. Despite his friend's reluctance to allow such a perilous mission, Shikishima remains steadfast, seeking vengeance for Nori's death by putting an end to the monster. Locating a fighter plane from a few years back that requires repair, Shikishima knows exactly who can help. He heads out to find Tachibana, an old friend from Odo Island, who has been elusive. To provoke Tachibana into appearing, Shikishima writes hundreds of offensive letters, successfully drawing him out. Although their encounter starts with a fight over blaming Tachibana for the Odo Island incident, he eventually agrees to repair the plane. Meanwhile, the soldiers, fueled by patriotism, are ready to fight for their futures despite the government's betrayal with inadequate support. They understand the risks but are committed to working for their families and a better future. The soldiers prepare for the fight, displaying unwavering determination. Both the doctor and Shikishima advise their injured friend to stay home, but he insists on participating. Recognizing the need for someone at the back end for their families, they reluctantly allow him to stay back. The soldiers spend their last safe night with their families, and Shikishima takes Akiko home from the neighbor, showing her fatherly love and praising her drawing. However, he must leave the little angel with a letter the next morning as he prepares for the impending battle. As Akiko stands at the neighbor's gate with the letter, the tension builds. Embarking on a perilous journey, Shikishima bears the responsibility of luring the monster to the target area. The colossal creature, ready for a fight, unleashes loud roars as ships prepare for the impending battle. Shikishima's colleague, expressing concern for his safety, implores him to come back alive for the sake of Akiko, but Shikishima remains resolute in his determination. As the monster wreaks havoc on the residence area, Shikishima takes timely action, circling the plane around its head to distract it. The monster, irritated by the buzzing plane, follows it into the waters, and Shikishima continues to lure it with courage and bravery while dodging its deadly attacks. The ships are ready to execute the plan, sprinkling the monster with cables. The creature activates highly potent radioactive heat waves, testing the ship's resilience, but they survive. Despite some wavering resolve among the team, the doctor urges them to stick to the plan. Shikishima distracts the monster while circling it against the cables and throws high explosives toward it. The plan seems successful until the monster resurfaces, roaring and screaming. With plan A seemingly thwarted, they shift to plan B, commanding the cables to pull the monster to the surface. However, the monster has chewed through the cables, breaking the cranes unexpectedly. Shikishima's colleague arrives with government assistance, bringing several boats and a skilled naval army team with advanced weapons. Facing disappointment, they attempt to use the life preserver device, but the monster's extreme powers render it ineffective. As the monster prepares to unleash heat waves, Shikishima plays his part, striking the plane filled with explosives at its face. The monster burns into ashes, and while hearts momentarily stop fearing for Shikishima's life, he emerges unharmed with a parachute. Earning respect and honor, the monster sinks into the depths of the ocean, vanquished for good. In the final scenes, the neighbor rushes to Shikishima with a telegram from a hospital, revealing Nori is alive and receiving treatment. Overjoyed, Shikishima rushes to her, ending his war and embracing love once more. Now, he can give Akiko the life they all deserve.